Heidi
Hello,
Ratzbot.
welcome everyone.
Hey, everybody.
So good to see you guys. The daylight is changing. I'm getting like afternoon sun coming in. Like, oh, a couple weeks time change, right? I think it's happening.
Yeah. I never pay attention till everyone's like, don't forget to change your clocks tomorrow. I'm like, oh,
I just know, like, right, fall back, spring ahead,
right.
fall back. That's all I need to know. Tell me when it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm good to go. All I can say is maybe I can get up a little earlier in the morning when it's a little lighter in the morning.
Right.
It's still dark at like 7:30, 7:40, even 7:45. It is still dark here in the morning.
Wow.
I'm like, it's not even winter yet and it's still dark.
And it's still dark.
Oh my gosh.
I need my light. Bring on my light.
Bring on the light. Okay, you guys, we haven't been getting to our little cards. So Dr. Heidi and I just like threw this out there. We're gonna like pull a card. So thanks for being here with you guys. Thanks. And we want you guys to answer this question too. So I'm gonna like dig a little because I don't know, the top one or two, I think I put back the same. Okay, you guys, are we ready? This is our question from our card game. Vertels. All right, that's the card game. Okay. And then we'll go through some introductions, you guys. For those of you that don't know us, you're like, what's going on? Is this a game show?
Right. What's behind door number?
There we go. Okay. Maybe this could be easy or hard. We'll see, Dr. Heidi. All right. So the question is, and this is in the past year, what was your most memorable day?
In the past year, memorable day.
Yeah, because it says the past year in retrospect. So we won't go our whole life. We'll just take the past year, which is kind of good. Sometimes we don't think about every year. We probably have a special day,
every
right?
year and special day.
And memorable doesn't, I guess, have to mean good, right? Memorable, that's true too.
It could be shocking, life-changing, a day of shifting, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So you guys put in the chat. We want to know, or let you know what was the most memorable for you. Sometimes it's easy, like, oh, I had a child, my kid got married, we were empty nesters, we went on an amazing vacation to France.
I wish I had all those things going. Something so in your face, a memorable day. Gosh, I am so bad. I
kind of know one for you, and it's not so.
Do you? Which one? Oh. You know what? I've tried to forget it because yes, I blew my shoulder out and had to have repair surgery on my shoulder. And, me being sick or weak or down is just not what I like to be.
Yeah, it's not your jam.
Yeah, that was a memorable day for sure, where I went, I think I've done something really horrible to my arm. Thanks for that, Kelly.
Okay, all right. So think about it. You think about a positive one now. I'll do my positive one because it's really amazing. So, many of us probably have a bucket list of where we like to travel. This was not on my bucket list, but we earned a trip this past year, to Croatia. And it was beautiful, amazing. Literally, if you guys, what's the TV show? It was filmed there. I want to see Lord of the Rings. So not right.
No.
I'll think about it. Oh my gosh, you guys.
Game of Thrones? No.
Game of Thrones. Yes. That's what it's filmed.
Okay.
So we got to see all, like, this was right here. And so I saw a few little bits of episodes before we left, but my husband watched the whole entire series. But Croatia is beautiful, gorgeous, such a memorable experience. It was amazing.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'd love to go. That is totally on my bucket list.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I still think my number one place. What's your number one place? My number one place that I've been, which was surprising to me because I was a little younger then, but my number one place was Israel.
Yeah. I hear I've not been there either. It is on my bucket list. My number one place. Gosh, I love them all. Number one place, I'd have to say New Zealand.
Okay. I haven't been.
Yeah.
So I need to
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. If you like outdoors, if you like hiking, if you like, yeah, just beauty, go to New Zealand. Beauty of the people, what you see, what you experience through the whole thing is just amazing.
Very, very cool. And since I just mentioned, I have to say, right, my heart goes out to everybody that's over in Israel right now and with everything in the world going on. And we've been touching base with many of our friends we have over there, and just such a very difficult time right now. So
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
yes.
Yeah.
So you guys, we're going to jump in. So we'll do quick introductions before we jump into this whole thing of your lab work, because so many of the times we go to the doctor, we come back, the story's been done over and over again. I've heard it, Heidi's heard it, almost every practitioner's probably heard it when somebody comes to us and says, well, my doctor said my labs all look good. They're all normal.
Yeah.
The word normal, you guys, is we're going to talk about the difference of normal and common and why, and especially why in the United States. But before we jump straight in, Heidi, take it away, Dr. Heidi, of a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Heidi Ratzable. I'm an ND and IFMCP, which is a certified functional medicine practitioner. I've been in practice over 22 years. I come into health and wellness, excuse the little noise of the little guy in the background, from an athletic point of view, always trying to find the best diet, the best kind of training system, and all of that to achieve a higher level and stature in my athletic abilities and so forth. And with that, it took me to all different countries, meeting all different kinds of people and learning all different kinds of modalities. And it was when I was time for me to retire, I thought, this is what I want to give to people. This is how I want to guide people to have robust life, robust health, and really look at their health from a different perspective other than, oh, I'm sick, I need to go to the doctor. Whereas I want to have focus on, let's do prevention. So when we need the doctor, we need the doc. But there's so much we can do to avoid that kind of thing. And that's what I want to do to bring to people, paired with Kellie, to really support women in their health and healthy aging and vital aging. So that's me.
Oh, you guys, it's so good. And honestly, Heidi and I every week like to come and bring you guys some stuff that's fun. Some of these topics are hard to talk about. Some of these you might think like you already know, but we're going to like bust away some myths that you might be thinking about or looking at things differently, or we might rattle you that things could be easier than you think, or we might change your paradigm that you're in more control of your health than you think.
Absolutely.
So it's a pleasure to be here with you guys. Again, Kellie Lupsha, high performance health coach. I've loved helping people. Historically, it's been as a physical therapist, really working with stroke, traumatic brain injury, and concussion. And after I saw so many people so sick, I realized, oh my gosh, if I could help people stay healthy and not get sick. Now, of course, there's always going to be accidents, but for many of us, we fall into this period in our lives that we neglect our health a little bit, just from a standpoint of nothing's really wrong with me. So it's maybe not even a purposeful neglecting, Dr. Heidi. Probably people just do the thing, go to work, live their life. You have some aches and pains, you don't feel great. And over time, those little tiny things get worse and worse and worse. But then over this 5 to 10 year period or more, you've lived with it long enough that you just think it's your normal.
Yeah.
And I hear people say, oh, I'm fine. I don't know. I'm just getting older. I'm aging. I'm fine. Or you've just started to have something go amiss and you go to the doctor and they're like, okay, let's run some blood work, because you're not really telling them anything specific. Maybe you have something more specific, but that's a pretty good place that a lot of people start as practitioners, right? Let's get some baseline and run some blood work.
Let's get some baseline. Exactly.
And then it comes back. And when it comes back, the majority of the time, unless there's a big red flag, but for a lot of people, the majority of the time, the doctor may tell you, oh, they look pretty good. You're pretty much in the norm. You know, maybe something a little here, a little there, you know, a little low in vitamin D, or I don't know, something, right? You've heard this time and time again, Dr. Heidi. Mm-hmm. So let's just start with the whole fact of, if somebody's not feeling great, why would their lab show up normal? And what is the range of normal in the United States even mean? Where's that data from?
Yeah, such a great question. And not one that people know, but when you look at a lab test, the reference ranges that you see on the side there where you fall, those are a bell curve of sick people. So we're not getting compared to well people. Does that make sense? So there's a bell curve in your area. So the ranges, there's some ranges that are just absolutely set, and then there's other ranges that shift a little bit because there's people in certain areas that have higher cholesterol as a general rule. So that shifts a little bit, right? Which again, I don't completely understand, but we just know it does, that they change these ranges. But the ends of the ranges are what we call pathology. So if you're out of those ranges, that's called a pathological, you have something pathological going on, right? And that's a warning sign.
That means it's not right, you guys.
It's not right, correct, yeah. And so that's what the doctor looks for. He just looks, are you out of the range or are you not? And it doesn't matter where you fall in the range, in their mind, you're just not sick yet. But that's the way standard medicine is. It's not about well care, it's about sick care. And they can't really treat you until you're sick, right? So they can't do what functional medicine does, or what, someone who, a healthcare practitioner that's more preventative medicine, that's not what MDs or the standard medicine is designed to do.
So Heidi, let's back up just a moment and say, why are the ranges looking at sick people? Because if I go in and I'm a 51-year-old female, I want to know that my blood work is on par for a woman of my age that should be healthy. But that's not what they're looking at. But they don't tell you that.
They don't tell you that. Now, you will be compared to an age group, which is why it's important to always look at your blood tests and make sure your name's correct, sex is correct, and the age group is correct, right? And birth date's correct. Because you are being compared with that. But you are being compared with sick people, because what they have figured out is that if within this range, it's not until people get to this range or over this range that they become sick. So they put the goalposts, if you will, close it up to just before that, because people over this tend to be sick. And so that's how they get that bell curve of people here are just starting to get sick. People up here, not so much, but if you're over here, we're in trouble. We're really on the downward slope of that bell curve. So that's how they establish that.
So this seems almost counterintuitive of, if you go and you're not well, even though your labs don't look off according to what that is, knowing it's trending that way, it would seem that the next step would be, hey, some of these are trending, or you have some things that are in this range, or maybe multiple small things in this range, then let's take a deeper dive. But most of the time, the blood work of the deeper dive isn't looked at. So where does this all start to change? Because there's a big push right now of people are looking at functional medicine, natural medicine, anti-aging. And people are like, well, isn't my blood work my blood work? Why is it different? It's really not different, but the eyes of the clinician are looking at it differently. Would that be correct?
That would be correct. Because when you look at functional medicine or alternative medicine, we have those ranges. We definitely look at those ranges because those are sick ranges. Like if they get over there, that's when I say you need an MD. You need to go see an MD because you have several of these out of range. But if we can catch you in, and we look for a pattern. So if you're high in several markers, not quite over, but you're trending high normal in several markers, that creates a pattern of fatty liver disease, which doesn't always show up in alcoholics. And fatty liver disease is showing up more and more these days through poor diet. Yeah, alcohol plays a part, but there's so much fatty liver disease because of poor diet and no rest and high stress that you want to catch that early, right? And that's when you can start looking at this is a pattern of fatty liver disease. This is a pattern of anemia. We need to go deeper dive and check your red blood cells and your ferritin and things like that. And so We just narrow the range of what we would term healthy, because we are comparing you to optimal performing people. So the research of, well, and we can't really say gold medal athletes, because oftentimes they're really depleted in different thing because of the level of, but high performance, high functioning people, that's where they fall in those ranges. And that's where functional medicine is going to want to keep you within those ranges and not too far out on either edge of the reference ranges.
So another thing I know that a lot of times when you're, for instance, looking at blood work, you're asking for more than what's on a standardized test.
Yeah.
So what drives normally when a doctor goes and they do a blood panel, why is there only this on a blood panel when really we need to look at a bigger picture of blood panel? Why is a lot of it just not even looked at?
Oh, I'm going to sound petty here, but it really comes down to insurance. Insurance does not want to pay for it. And they've deemed that this isn't necessary unless these other tests are off. Yes, you can get an enormous amount of information on a really good CBC with differential, an enormous amount of information, right? If it's looked at properly, if it's looked at not only for sickness, but pattern. And then you can add more. Most functional doctors, myself included, I'm using the comprehensive test that used to be maybe standard 30 years ago, 40 years ago. And this was standard. This was like, you need to look at all these things. You need to look at liver markers. You need to look at lipid markers. You need to look at full thyroid markers, not just TSH. It's like going to buy a house and not going inside. Full iron markers, ferritin, TIBC. So these kinds of things were standard in looking at before. And so we've just adopted the old way that was really working, and early detection of things, because it's these subtle markers that create that pattern. You could see, wait a minute, something's not right here.
Right. And I want you guys to understand that, Heidi and I are, we're clinicians at heart. For goodness gracious, my traditional schooling was at the Mayo Clinic, right? Where everything is hardcore traditional medicine. But insurance is the largest money-making companies, right? Like healthcare is a business. It makes money. And so what Heidi's talking about is over 30 years, they've figured out, like, we need to trim some fat. We need a bigger bottom line. We need to make money. Our healthcare system's in trouble. Let's pull back and kind of give us more, just, the bones of the structure of stuff. And then let's just wait and see. So unfortunately, lots of us in this age group and beyond are getting stuck in the wait and see. But because we didn't get these warning signs, we're never triggered. Now, all of a sudden, people are, the very first thing, they're finding cancer. The very first thing, they're like in full-blown autoimmune, right? And so now there's so much work and undoing to do versus if we would have had early detection. Or, like I say, if you just are walking around saying you're feeling fine, physically, mentally, whatever it is, something's amiss. You should not be just feeling fine. You should feel great. You should feel fabulous.
Yeah. Expect fabulous. And anything else is lower. So you made a great point there, Kelly, is, when someone gets sick, and the thing that finally takes them into the doctor is to say, I don't feel well. And then they're faced with cancer. The truth of all illnesses, other than, a traumatic accident, but all diseases, diabetes, cancer, fatty liver disease, cardiovascular disease, these are all, has about a 10-year lead up to diagnosis. Things are happening 10 years or more. Parkinson's can be even 20 years or more before it actually shows up in a state that you can diagnose it. Well, you're sick, you got Parkinson's. And we're not looking for the tremors there, right? We're looking for other things that is Parkinsonian based. So cancer, things like that. The other things are going to show up. Our body is brilliant. It will always give us some signs. that things are amiss, but our body is also brilliant and has this amazing ability to adapt and adapt and adapt. And it's not till it's run out of its capability of dealing with an illness that we're sick. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, you guys.
Yeah.
So we hope we're speaking to you because the goal is that you're really feeling fabulous. So if you feel like you really do have something more going on, certainly you can go back and talk with your doctor even further, right? You can certainly go find a functional medicine physician, practitioner that can really help you. But this is what I also want to say to everybody in looking at their labs is just because your labs say one thing doesn't mean you should assume you feel this way, have this thing, do this thing. It's kind of like I used to tell people in my clinic as a physical therapist, you would maybe have a massive stroke and they would look at your MRI and see what happened in your brain. Now you're recovering beautifully. They go back and like every year or something, do another MRI. The MRI still looks the same. And they're like, wait, but now the person's moving and doing all this stuff and they're talking, it's the same brain. So sometimes we get stuck in looking at the results of a test and just make these assumptions. So you could be doing the work, you guys. There's a lot of things that you can be done, that it's not just fix my lab work, like what supplements do I need?
Right.
Fix my lab work with what do I need to start changing in my lifestyle to assist. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean you don't need supplements or things to support your body at a cellular level, right, Dr. Heidi?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, we're bombarded with just so many toxins in the air and our food and our water and things like that we just can't help. And so we've gotten to a point where our body is generally very adaptive and can do so many things. But when we add that high stress lifestyle, and we're all under high stress, we're all in front of our computers that emit these EMS and things like that, oh, she's crazy now, the EMS, but these are stressful frequencies. The stress that is compounded on our body, we feel it at a cellular level. And that's when sometimes key supplements can be unbelievably supportive and life-changing. They can't fix everything, but there are key ones that we all really need, so they do play a part, but it's so much food and lifestyle.
Yeah. Wow. So you guys, I hope this was educational for you to understand. And then we can help you. So if you have more questions, you've had lab work done, you're unsure, you're still not feeling great, reach out to Dr. Heidi or I. We can talk with you further about some things to start with, maybe take another look, maybe to see if there's another option for you to start feeling fabulous versus just fine. Or maybe you're not fine even, you're feeling like crap. I don't know. But there are resources. And what I would just really say is don't wait. So Heidi, what would you leave, our audience with of like them needing either to go ask or to go do a thing or to reach out? Like if they're not feeling well, what would you suggest be their next step?
Yeah, if you're not feeling well, and feeling well is waking up in the morning, fully rested, ready to go. You go through your day, good energy, no cravings for sugars and things like that. This is feeling well, doing what you want when you want. Health is freedom. Health is freedom. And when you start losing your freedoms to do things, the ease to do things, definitely go get a blood test. Go get a thorough, comprehensive blood test. And yes, have your doctor read it. But if you all fall into normal, you may want to take that blood test to someone else who reads it a little bit differently, to see if there are some ways you can tweak either the way you eat, the way you move, to restore some of that health that you have and that you can achieve.
Yes. Oh my gosh. So good, you guys. So Dr. Heidi, thank you so much for all of your wisdom and your guidance. If the listeners want to find you, what's the best place that they can find you at?
Yep, my website is scienceofthriving.com, or you can just send an inquiry to info@scienceofthriving.com, and we can get back to you. Tell me a little bit about what's going on and we'll reach back out.
Such a pleasure as always. Super fun to chat. And for those of you that joined us later, what we want to know is we want to know about your most memorable moment of this past year, right? Your most memorable moment of this past year. And so gives us a little insight and get to know you a little bit more, have fun with us. We really hope this was helpful. It would be an honor if you guys would really share this with somebody else that you love and care about and thinks might be interested in following along as well. So with that, you guys, we'll see you next time.
Take care, everybody. Be well.